It started with a flickering red and blue light, a sharp wail of a siren, and the squeal of tires pulling over to the side of the road. Officer Daniels tightened his grip on the wheel as he smirked, watching the beat-up old car roll to a stop. It was an easy target, just another broke, washed-up black man behind the wheel of a car that looked like it had seen better decades. Daniels had done this 100 times before, and it always played out the same way. Pull them over, throw his weight around, remind them who had the power, and if he was in the mood, maybe even toss in a bogus charge for good measure. Who would believe them over him? It was routine. As he stepped out of his squad car, the air was thick with the humid scent of the city, a mixture of gasoline, sweat, and desperation. The streets were quiet, dimly lit by flickering streetlights. Daniels adjusted his belt, feeling the weight of his holster and badge pressing against his hip. He loved that feeling, the feeling of control. He strutted up to the driver's side, tapping the car door twice, just hard enough to send a message. The window rolled down slowly. Inside, an older black man sat with an unreadable expression. His clothes were plain, slightly worn. His hands rested on the wheel, calm, steady, patient. But Daniels wasn't looking for patience. He was looking for fear. "Evening, sir," Daniels said, voice thick with sarcasm. "You in a hurry to get somewhere? This car of yours barely looks like it can make it past the next block." The man didn't react. No protest, no anger, just a slight, almost imperceptible smirk. Daniel's jaw tightened. He'd seen that look before. He didn't like it. "License and registration," he snapped, letting his fingers hover near his holster for effect. The man moved slowly, reaching for his wallet. No sudden movements, no resistance. He pulled out the documents and handed them over without a word. Daniel snatched them, skimming over the details without really reading them. Didn't matter who this guy was, he was just another nobody. "You got a problem, sir?" Daniels asked, watching the man's face closely. The man tilted his head slightly. "Not at all, officer." That damn smirk. It was small, but it was there. Subtle, almost amused. Daniels felt his pulse quicken. "Oh, you think this is funny?" he challenged, stepping in closer, looming over the driver's side. "You people never learn, do you? Always thinking you can get away with anything." Still, the man barely reacted. Daniels could feel the frustration boiling in his chest. He didn't like it when they didn't brake. He didn't like it when they weren't afraid. "Step out of the vehicle," Daniels ordered, his voice sharp, commanding. The man blinked once. "Am I being detained, officer?" Daniels let out a slow chuckle. "Oh, we're doing that, huh? You one of those street lawyers? Think you know the law better than me?" He placed his hand on the roof of the car, leaning in even closer. "Let me explain something to you, old man. Out here, I decide what happens. You don't get to play smart with me." The man didn't flinch, didn't argue, just let out a quiet sigh, shaking his head slightly. Daniels took that as his victory. He was in control. He had him right where he wanted him. And then, the man reached into his jacket. Daniel's heart slammed against his ribs. Instinct took over. His hand shot to his gun. "Hey, hey, hands where I can see 'em," he barked, yanking the safety off in one smooth motion. But the man, he didn't freeze, didn't panic. He kept moving, slow and deliberate, as if he wasn't the least bit concerned about the weapon aimed at him. And then he pulled it out. A badge. Not just any badge. FBI. Daniel's breath caught in his throat. His brain struggled to process what he was seeing. His hands trembled just slightly, fingers hovering over his trigger. He blinked once, twice, as if hoping the letters would rearrange themselves into something else. But they didn't. The older man held it up calmly, flipping it open so the credentials were clear. "Agent Harold Gaines, FBI Internal Affairs." Daniel's stomach twisted into knots. Internal Affairs. The people who investigated cops. The badge glinted under the dim streetlight, taunting him. He had screwed up. Badly. The silence stretched between them, thick and suffocating. Daniels took a step back, trying to recover, but it was too late. The power dynamic had shifted, and now he was the one on the other side. "Sir, I didn't mean—" Daniels stammered, his voice cracking. Gaines finally broke his silence. "Your body cam's on, right?" His voice was even, almost casual, but there was something dangerous beneath the surface. Daniels felt the blood drain from his face. The body cam. It had caught everything, every word, every threat, every abuse of power. Gaines let the moment linger before calmly pulling out his phone and pressing a button. "You're going to want to check in with your captain in about—" He glanced at his watch. 20 minutes. Daniels swallowed hard. His hands felt clammy. His mind raced for an escape, an excuse, anything. But there was nothing. No way out. He knew what came next. Suspension, review board hearings, maybe even termination. The days of flexing his badge without consequence were over. Gaines rolled up his window, put his car in gear, and drove off into the night, leaving Daniels standing there, frozen, exposed, powerless. By the time he made it back to his station, the damage was done. The footage had been reviewed. The complaints had been filed. His name was already being whispered in hallways. Officers who once nodded at him now avoided his gaze. His captain called him into the office with a grave expression. Daniels knew before the words were even spoken. Suspended. Indefinitely. Pending further investigation. He sat in his empty locker room, staring at the nameplate on his uniform, realizing for the first time he wasn't invincible. He never had been, because not every black man struggling on the streets is powerless. Some are just waiting for the right moment to remind you exactly who they are, and when they do, there's no coming back from it. Share, like, and subscribe for more stories like this.